I actually renamed this point. Originally, I had this point as like the God of the Bible is a unique monotheistic concept. That's how my point was originally written. But I actually, when I thought about it more, monotheism is an identity anchor that keeps a person from being emotionally and mentally manipulated. I think
By what?
the world. Yeah, having something where you're at least grounded in for myself, and other people who are Bible believing, being grounded in scripture and knowing that there is a capital C, as Prager would say, creator, is very grounding, because it does actually tie you to some sort of accountability, like some responsibility. Um, and I know that that's really challenging to tie yourself to accountability to something, especially to something that's transcendent, because that also goes into my point, maps into when you're comparing yourself to the transcendent, you always come up short. It's like it's an automatic judgment.
Interesting. Yeah, why? In the present moment, I don't feel like I'm short. I'm the opposite of coming short. And then this maps perfect. This maps to the point I haven't talked about yet. And I do see, like, point two, people as self-proclaimed entities with everyone becoming one's own church. Like, that is the danger then, because what I'm then doing is like, in the present moment, when I'm circling in this meditation with people and I feel liberated and free and like connected to the divine and empty and all these things at the same time. And there is then this danger of like thinking of myself, and we've talked about this before, like thinking everyone is a god. And I think this has good and, yeah, I don't know if good and bad sides. Let me just finish the whole point. So people as self-proclaimed entities with everyone becoming one's own church, with no mediating structures between the divine and the person, it's easy for the person to usurp the position of God. Yes, and then I'm wondering, okay, what is the problem? And then this maps to some piece I've read a few months ago by John Vervaeke, and it's like the danger is like this kind of narcissism of you thinking that you, yeah, I can't, well, maybe you can make the case or something like for like, why is it a problem that people think of themselves as gods?
Well, the main issue with people thinking of themselves as gods is people are fickle. They change their minds. Let's just be honest. It's to me, if I was going to like masculine any of this and be like, this is like the data points over the years of studying scripture, that's what it is. It's society and cultures shift on what's considered right and what's considered wrong, what's considered love and what's considered hate. Like it's always shifting. And actually it's not good. It's not good. And truth shifts as well in societies, like what's considered true or what's considered even free speech. If we think about free speech, like what's considered free speech now, what's allowed as free speech, like what does that actually mean? Yeah, words matter. And like having I don't know if this is like SI too, right? Having something that's actually foundationally, sensorily true is so important. It's a foundation you can build on. It's not something that's it would be non-negotiable. There are certain truths in that are non-negotiable. And if you are your own God, because God ultimately is the one who creates those non-negotiables, then you can create your own, which means you are accountable to no one but yourself.
I'm asking myself now, what am I accountable to? Because I don't have a direct, that's probably my energy dumbness. Like I don't have a direct through line to God, like a lot of people who are believing in a single creator, like the monotheism stuff. Like I don't have that direct through line. It feels like I have a lot of lines coming. Yeah, I don't know why I'm now with finite and infinite. Like, and I remember someone saying, what does God lack? And they said limitations.
Yeah.
And then like that's the limitations we have. If someone is going to be attacked outside with a machete, then we don't know. Wait, then they are finite. We want to save their lives for now.
Yes.
And if we were God, then we wouldn't care because we're infinite. So we can't die.
I don't know if it's you wouldn't care, but it's almost like you saw the beginning from the end. The thing that I struggle with, like if we want to talk NF and like a little abstractly, I really struggle with knowing that God is in things, but he's not puppeteering them. They talked a little bit about that as well. How I've had it described to me that makes sense in my brain is that there are moments in history that are going to happen, like Christ's resurrection and death and resurrection. That was happening. There was nothing anybody could do to stop that. That was something ordained. And we could even say that there are things like that in our lives as well, but then we have the free will in between to choose like what we want to do. It's almost like, again, it's like this dance. Like, I just feel like everything in life is this dance of like, controlling chaos, of course, because of being an EP, but also it's like, truth and not truth and love and hate. And it's just this, it's this dance that I have a hard time balancing because I'm finite. My brain is finite. My understanding is finite. And we've talked about this. The more I know, then the less I know. And sometimes the more I know about people, the more freaked out I get. Like sometimes I gotta stop studying people because it just, or even if I go into the depths of my FI and like what I'm capable of thinking about others or feeling, if I even go there, then it scares me.
How do you know you're finite?
Well, my soul isn't finite. I mean, I'm connected to something that's not finite. I'm connected to the infinite, and a lot of people who are really good about, their prayer life and sitting in it, or even like meditation to like have that access to the infinite. And for me, it would be like have access to God, to Yahweh, is a lot in that sleep animal. So I really struggle with that. I mean, I've had like peace and I've had some revelation in my life, but it takes a long time to get there.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know why, but I just realized there's like this different, well, it's probably a da, but like the connection to the infinite for me happens in the present moment, and I have no idea how to explain it. And for you, it happens in the relationship with God.